Hi, everyone. It's Carolyn Moore with the Modern Widows Club, and today we have something special for you. It is a new webinar series called Fatherless Boys and Men series, and our first interview that we're going to have was with Carter and Reece. Wave your hands, Carter and Reece. And I'm going to give you a little information. Here at Modern Widows Club, we know that what we do for widows is really valuable, but a lot of times what people don't realize is that actually what ripples out into our kids' life is also how we help empower widows to thrive. We also help their families. So I'm going to read a little bit about Carter and Reece here. So Carter and Reece were 7 and 5 when they lost their dad, Todd, to a sudden heart attack on the day after Christmas in 2012. They're now both 15 and 13, and they have great compassion for other kids who have lost a dad, and they take any opportunity to be a voice and a source of support for those kids and their widowed moms, because I've been there and stayed with you guys. Carter, wave your hand, Carter, is passionate about marine biology, and his life goal is to study marine life in Australia following college. Now, Reece, raise your hand, began playing soccer 3 months after his dad died, and it remains a steadfast passion in his life. His goal is to play through his school years and create a career in soccer. So together, they love playing video games, and they hope to build a fun and supportive community through gaming with kids who have faced loss. I'm so glad to have both of you two. The last time I saw you, I was actually at your house. And so it's great to have you online, and we've all kind of made it through this pandemic. And this is something, when I met with you guys, that you kind of openly expressed that you'd be willing to share about what it's like to grow up with a widowed mom, because you were so young, 7 and 5. And so you've, really seen in the last, well, eight or 9 years, you've watched your mom, right? And so what I asked you guys is just one kind of simple question, is that what are the reasons why people should care about widowed moms like your mom, Jen? So just open question. Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
I guess I can start.
Okay.
I think one of the main reasons that people should respect them is all the hard work they do.
Yeah.
They do all this stuff and make it look completely easy. And all of that with not having somebody else to help you is really, I'd imagine, is really hard to do. So, but we try to help her as much as we can. But I think they should be respected for that.
Yeah, and it is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of work that no one really sees happening, right? Because it's your everyday. It's the getting the groceries, cleaning the house, maintaining, making sure all of you get to everything that you need to, your doctor's appointments, when you're sick, caring for you, even when she's sick, and your pets, and your and the cars and everything. And you guys are right there seeing a front view of that going down, right? Yeah. So what about you, Carter?
Well, I think that especially during the first couple of years, that widows can be a lot more sensitive, and a lot emotions can come out a lot easier. And so it's important to be caring and respect them.
Do you think a lot of people don't?
I don't know.
Do you think they could do it more?
Yeah. Well, it also kind of goes into a bigger thing, which is just to respect everyone.
Right.
Because you could just walk past someone on the street and they look normal, but something happened to them, and if you're mean to them, it could make their day even worse.
Right. And so when in widowhood, your emotions are on your sleeve. They're on your, anything can trigger it off. A song, something that they see, a memory, a smell, any of those things can actually, you probably had those experiences where your mom was just like, I'm either crying or just, not realizing that something triggered her, and you were there when that happened. Has that happened before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a young man, no one wants their mom, to start crying. They want to be able to comfort them. And yet, as a young man, it's like, how do I do that? I know you two are both extremely compassionate and attentive to your mom. And you probably also get upset when your mom, does get upset too, because you're like, can we just have a peaceful family? And it can be hard sometimes, being support for your mom when your mom is really the person that's supposed to be support for you and stay strong. So talk a little bit about that, or give me some more of the reasons why people should care. That was great points, both in that people don't understand how on edge emotionally widows are, but also how much they do every day. Because I always say widows are the busiest women on earth, partly because I know what that's like to have to do everything, and not just everything as a mom, everything that two parents were doing before got put onto my shoulders, and to continue doing that 24/7, 365 days. I know what that feels like, and I'm so grateful that you recognized it. So what are some of the other reasons why we should care?
Adding to your point about how widows sometimes deal with just kind of breakdowns, like it just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up, because it happened a couple months ago,
Oh.
where if it happens, it's kind of hard to find a balance between if you should support her or just let her be alone. And so I think that with that, you need to support her enough to make sure she knows that you care and you feel for her, but not so much to the point where it just gets annoying.
Right.
So you should let her have some alone time, but you should also make very sure that she knows that you're there for her.
You should let her know that it's okay, that you're there for her, whichever one she chooses. Right. So that flexibility is really needed when those moments come. That's a good point. I like that. Thank you. What about you, Carter? You have other things you want to say?
Yeah, it kind of builds on that point, but I guess it also depends on the person.
Yeah.
But some widows can become more caring and understanding, because after going through that, you know that it's bad, and so you want to help other people through going through something similar. But also, a lot of people in that situation just kind of shut down.
Yeah.
And don't talk to anyone, don't really do anything, and kind of just shut off the world.
Right. And
So we need to make sure we help and care for them, so that you don't get to that point, because it's really hard to get out of that once you're in it.
right, because there are just down days, right? Like we all have them. We all have them. And I think that's, your mom found Modern Widows Club, and she has been amazing. She's been, she launched a community in LA. She was involved in the Seattle community before you guys moved to LA. She's been on the board of directors. She has been such a great support for the organization. And, at Modern Widows Club, what we do is, we create community, really supportive and encouraging communities. I don't know if you remember your mom before Modern Widows Club or after. Do you have a perspective on what she was like before she had that support versus after? Do you remember that at all?
Personally, I don't think so. I think I was so young that I just don't remember it.
Yeah. Do you remember, Carter, or do you just remember having Modern Widows Club in your life?
I don't really remember before.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that you guys would, but you kind of know now, like how involved she is, right, in the organization. What do you think it does for your mom having the organization in her life and in this community?
Um, I think overall it
Mhm.
makes her just a happier person. Like the fact that she can um, take care of other people, because that's all my mom really wants to do is
Mhm.
help other people. And the fact that she can do that and help other widows who are in the same situation as she was,
Mhm.
help them get through it and everything, I think that makes her a lot happier because helping people makes you a lot happier of a person.
Right. Right. She's found a lot of purpose and meaning, which is what we talk a lot about building resilience. There's one thing to experience the loss and have kids that are experiencing in different ways, but if you don't have that level of support, you don't really have that person to, and they're not, she doesn't want to come to you and talk about it, so she needs to have people who really understand a like situation. So what do you think, Carter? How do you think it's made a difference in your mom's life?
I was pretty similar to that, and just her being able to help people because she was in that situation. She knows what it's like. So she's
Mhm.
able to help people who maybe through her support might have an easier time dealing
Right.
with it than she did.
So you think your mom is this resilient role model for a lot of other widows here at MWC, and she has actually helped. I'd probably say hundreds and thousands of women have been exposed to the love that and compassion that she has extended. Do you think having a happier mom and having a mom that gets support in that way helps your family as a whole?
Uh, Definitely, because that makes her, if she's sad
Mhm.
and kind of down most of the time, then she wouldn't really want to do most of the things like trips or anything like that. But
Mhm.
if she's happy and content, um, knowing that she's caring for other people,
Yeah.
then she will want to spend more time with us. I think because she won't feel like she really um, she'll feel like she's, I don't know how to word it, but yeah, I guess overall I think she's much happier and it makes her
I
uh,
think what maybe you were trying to say is like there's a better balance,
yeah, yeah, that's the word.
right? Because if she's happier and she feels fulfilled, right, in having this mission to feel purpose and meaning, that benefits you because she brings that home. She brings that kind of balance to you, and she can be a better parent knowing that she's also doing well in other areas. And I think that's right.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was trying to say. I just didn't know how to word it.
Yeah, but I knew what you were trying to say there, and it's because that's one of the things as a mom who has is raising fatherless kids. That's you are our biggest concern,
Yeah,
right? I know that you feel that, but from coming from a mother like me, that it's really your biggest concern. Yes, primarily, we need to work on all the things that we need to, but I don't. Many times, raising our children is our top priority. And I know your mom's doing a great job with you in creating that balance. So, what about you, Carter? Did you have something to say on that?
Mm,
How it's
Just
impacted your family?
yeah, it's definitely just benefited it. I think giving her that support is allowed her to do more things with us and for us.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have met actually a lot of the women in Modern Widows Club, right?
Uh, I've she's introduced us to some, but
Uh-huh.
I've heard a lot of names. So, yeah.
And I've come and stayed there with you guys, and lots of other women have.
Mhm.
I think that I think that everything that you have to, both of you have to say is so valuable. But I also know that kind of there's a lot of topics that we haven't talked about. Like your mom dating again. These are some of the tough things that, as a young man, when you see, potentially new men coming into your mom's life, how awkward has that been, or what's that experience been like?
It's been it's been interesting. I don't really mind. It's
Hmm.
more like just kind of it's like new to see. I think
Hmm.
anyone, you know, widow or not, would be kind of any kid, it would feel weird for their one of their parents to be dating someone else that you don't really know.
Right.
But and I mean it's been so long, and this is the first like big real relationship.
Hmm.
It's kind of weird to to have just just mom for so long, and now there's just someone else. Kind of strange, but you know,
Yeah.
it makes my mom a lot happier. So I
Hmm.
just kind of go along with it and just see what happens. Because that's
Right.
the goal is mom's just happy, so I'm just gonna go with it because she needs all of it.
That is so awesome. What about you, Reese?
Uh, yeah, at first I was kind of like iffy about it because I
Yeah.
was like, I don't have much memory of having a father
Yep.
because when he passed away, I was so little.
Yeah.
Um, so the whole dynamic of having two parents is kind of new to me.
Right.
But yeah, as Carter said, whatever makes her happy makes me happy.
Yeah, you had a good point there, Carter. It's like I've had my mom all to myself for this long, and so that does change that dynamic. And my daughters are the same way. They don't know what it's like to have two parents, and they don't have memories of their dad because they were 2 and 4, and you guys were 7 and 5, so you were a little bit older. But still, those memories are so young, in your years. So yeah, this is definitely I call it an interesting new adventure.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So I'm just curious, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but so your mom has Modern Widows Club, right? Like she's got all her wisters, her widow sisters, and in a community. But who do you guys talk to? Are there times when you the fact that your dad died and that you need to talk to someone, like who do you go? Do you talk between yourselves, or do you talk to other people? Do you kind of stumble upon people who um, have lost a dad too? Who do you guys go to?
I either go to my mom primarily,
Uh-huh.
but if not, I'll talk to one of my friends who also lost his dad when he was young.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, those are like the main two people I go to.
Those are probably, like us, very unique conversations when you come across someone who has lost a dad, because there's so much that doesn't have to be explained, right? Yeah. What about you, Carter?
Well, my mom is obviously the obvious one, but if not, I kind of just think about it.
Hmm.
I'll turn on a YouTube video or a Twitch live stream, and,
Yeah.
and I'll just kind of think about it
Yeah.
and kind of talk, I guess, with myself about it.
Well, I'm really glad you guys both have an outlet to be able to do that, because I think that's really important. you may not know this, but like that's how individuals build resilience. They kind of see the situation, they talk through it, because it's not it's like facing it head on, talk through it, because there's so many kind of odd moments that happen when you've lost a parent, and you need to have that go-to person. So whether you're going on Twitch or TikTok or talking to with a friend, and you guys can always call me too if you want to. But it's been, let me ask you, do you have anything, we've kind of covered what we need for this series call, but is there anything you want to add at the end? Anything you want at all that kind of just popped up for the ending here?
I don't think so for me.
No? What about you, Carter?
I don't think, the one thing I would say, if they're, widows are watching this with kids, is that the kids will understand if you have a bad day.
Yeah.
Because, they're going through it too. And I feel like most widowed moms think they have to always be tough and resilient around their kids and not show anything. Not true, because the kids are going through the same thing you are. So it's okay to just kind of have that day and sit with your kids or sit alone, watch something, and you don't always have to be tough around them, because they understand what you're going through.
Right. So you're in it together. That's what I used to tell my daughters. We're going to stick together. Right. Because you are going to have bad days, and you're going to have days where even sometimes when you're happy, it's like even difficult. You're like, we're just really happy. And for your mom, many times we're happy and I wish your dad was here. I'm sure she has said things like that to you.
Yeah.
And it's so true. If you guys want to yell up and tell your mom, I want her to come on and just say hello real quick before we close, or just text her to come on down. I really appreciate all that you guys have shared, because I think that there's a lot of things that we can teach people who just don't know what it's like to have a widowed mom. But, some of the things I took away here is that she's actually happier when she has a community, which then ripples out to making you guys more happy. And I know how if she's happy, then you'll be happy. And so all the ways that we can actually help bring balance into her life is going to benefit the whole family. And that's so important. So one of the things that I wanted to share is on my TEDx talk, one of the things I share is the power of the 3 words, tell me more. And so, what you guys kind of were talking about is, you can talk to your mom if you're having a hard day. And I would encourage you to use those 3 words, because it's kind of interesting, because when you say to someone, tell me more, they're usually ready to tell you more. Right. So thank you, Jen, for letting us share Carter and Reece with us. They shared some really insightful. Do you have anything you want to add at the end of this small webinar about your boys? I know you didn't get to hear what they were saying, and so you'll get to see it afterwards, but there were some really insightful parts about what they shared, and I really appreciate all of you guys. Do you have anything to say, Jen?
Just that I know whatever they said, like you said, is like surely insightful and just so compassionate, and they really get it. And I'm just so proud of them for being the young men that they are, and being such a support to their mom, and just super blessed.
That's right. So you guys take care of yourselves, and I'm so grateful you have one another, and keep the open communication going, because you're right. Some days are just going to be hard, and some days, though, you're going to enjoy the happiness and the joy that you have found in this life that you've rebuilt together. So I just want to thank you so much for being on this series, and we're going to talk again. So Until next time, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Guys, yeah. You can go on modernwidowsclub.org and find out more. We check this out on our Instagram, our Facebook, and our YouTube. Always where there's lots of other videos and lots of other things to take part in. So thank you all for watching, and onward and upward.